Showing up as an investor for the last 30 years, consulting for as many years, coaching businesses for the last 15 years. I even started a mentoring program 5 years ago to be able to connect with leaders, trusted advisors, people that I can certainly discuss doing business or referring business or joint ventures. Starting to understand that what they don't know is that they can have an even exponential future rather than a linear future. Because what they're saying is based on their experience, and it's usually, well, I want more money, I want more clients, I want more short-term perspective, not long-term. Simply because of a lot of pressures, it's a lot easier to think in 18 months or 12 months. It's a lot easier to think, oh, well, I'll make $2 million. I'll hire 100 people. I'll get 20 to 40 more clients. It's easier to visualize. And that's very linear. And that's what they ask for. And what they really need is to go exponential. So that instead of short term, it's exponential, maybe within that time frame, but is exponential towards an even much better future. The possibilities of what they really need. How do we get to exponential? And that's something from other speakers, if you've been following and listening, that there is a linear path and then there's exponential. And what is this? What is this exponential? And of course, if we know about it, why don't we all do exponential? Because it's going to be the same amount of time, maybe more work, maybe a little more effort, but the results are tremendous. And so what is that mystery? How do we get to exponential in an environment that's very turbulent, that's uncertain? It's the VUCA effect. We don't know what we don't know. So how can we get even better exponentially when we have these uncertainty all around us? And how do we do that continuously? And I'm starting to uncover what that means. And what that means is to be able to stack powerful flow states, powerful skills where they can build up on it. Continuous growth. There's a term called CANI, C-A-N-I, continuous and never-ending improvement. And I think it's a Japanese term. And that makes sense to me. Can we do that? In spite of all the uncertainty, in spite of all the volatility, can we continue doing that? I don't fully know the answer, but let's assume that we can at least mitigate or address that uncertainty, that volatility that's going on, because we're able to take the right efforts, the right signals, the right way to show up exponentially. What is the framework? What is the new world that we stepped in? Because, quite frankly, in order to accelerate that, it involves better communications, collaboration, listening, involvement, participation, diversity, all of those things. And I started to list what I call signals. Some people call them triggers. Triggers to get into a better state. Signals. Signals is a nicer word for me. Signals. So communications is a signal. Focus is a signal. Collaboration is a signal. Here's what I'm starting to understand. We know these things from coaching. It's not new. We've known this. So what's the big deal? Here's the big deal. The big deal is the recipe. Which signals do we need at the right time for the right person, for the right situation, and the right acceptance? That seems to be that seems to be the magic formula. So now we know the signals. We know that already. We know the clients that they are in a linear fashion. We want to get them exponential. So how do we do that? Well, is we stack those signals, the correct signals, to get them to where they want to go. And that is the art as a coach. Well, which signals? Do we use communications, collaboration, listening, focus? Do we use what she has in terms of elegant dialogic orientation? So what do we use? That is the art of the coach, the new coach, to be able to help a client get exponentially going. And once you get clarity about that, then, like I have, start to list what are all these signals. Math is, well, what if we study teams, a group of people? Well, we've got, and we've had just recently studies about teams, and that's been going on with teams and groups, and how do we help them work cohesively and get them to a state? Well, teams work really well in sports, soccer, football. We've had teams for, even from the Olympics, going back thousands of years of that. So how do we translate that from individual sports and team sports to individual business and team business, and more important, organizational business? And that's the path. That's the framework. So it's really simple when we put it from that context, and then all of a sudden it becomes clear. It becomes clear, and it's simple because we have the skills already. The challenge is, which skills do we use at what time with the right person to get the right results that we want? But even if it's the wrong results, those are better results than what they had before. Because communications, improved listening, collaboration, even if some of those signals are not totally correct, they're used in the wrong sequence, they're still great. You're still, even if you end up linear, you're better than nothing. So the choice is linear or exponential. We shoot for exponential, and we're okay with linear. And it's all depending on the signals that we use with the right team, the right person, the right organization. The right organization, in my mind, is just comprised of groups of teams. So you have multiple teams and that make up an organization. And there is a leader for the organization. That could be the individual. So there's a combination of the two. An organization may be a combination of single and teams. But that's it. That is what I'm finding is very simplistic. So what does that mean? Well, we don't have to relearn anything. We already know the skills. And the key there is having the right communications with the client to uncover the preferred future, what they want a preferred future. And it's always going to be shorter term. But if we lay the groundwork, it's going to be extended future, even longer. And that might be the exponential part. That coaching is the solution. The solution for being able to uncover better futures with people and focusing in this direction, because we're focused on flow states. And flow state is a word where everything goes right. It's a combination of the skills and the challenges. So if you have the skills that match the challenges perfectly, then you're kind of in a flow state until the challenges get too challenging. Then either you lower the challenges or increase the skills. Very simple. To be able to, simple to explain, it's simple to have people participate. So now they get a flow state. They didn't No, they needed a flow state. They want to win a championship or they want to get more money. Give me something tangible. This is what I want. But they get that plus more. And that's the exponential. You could have signals for a team that may be close listening, collaboration, shared high risks, familiarity, common purpose, unity in purpose. Those are signals that in a group environment that now gets them in a flow state, a better flow state. Those are signals that empower them. And of course, it depends on the challenge that they're facing. So if the challenge is too challenging, then lower the challenge or increase the skills. Very simple. And increase the skills might be better communication, better asking better questions, or more resources. Or sometimes you can't lower the challenge. A hurricane happened, or something, a flooding. Those are challenges that are natural causes. Well, then we have to increase the skills, more resources, more support to be able to get into a balance, a flow state where skills intersect the challenge. And that is the magic that we use or have as coaches to be able to get individuals to a flow state, a team into a flow state, and by doing multiple teams, the whole organization rises and can get at least into a flow state. That is how I interpret the exponential growth. That's how we continue to do it. So collaboration, it's good enough. Just collaborate. Eventually, with practice, gets better and better and better. Listening gets better. Meditation gets better. Discussions get better. Inclusiveness gets better. All of those things are just signals. The key is the mastery is which one works at what time and how much practice have you had in that. So with that, then the answer is coaches. Coaches are the solution for helping that state flow, that continuous improvement to show up. And it differentiates. But inevitably, to grow, it's going to be business. We expand with business. There's resources. It's more complex. It's much more involved. And the skill sets are the same for us, whether it's individual or group. I think the coaching arena is going more and more to group and team coaching because we can use our time much more efficiently, generate more revenue, and be able to do a lot more value for everybody else. So, and also there's a lot of people, 8 billion people in the world, 8 billion. They can't all get therapists. They can't get all social workers, all these psychiatrists. They can't even get all those coaches yet unless you make it easy for a person to be a coach with a framework. And they get a lot of value. A person gets value. Like I've gotten value financially, emotionally, physically, a lot of value. I become a better person from that as a byproduct. And I like that. I'm my own client. And so now I could help groups of people to do that with a coaching direction. I think it's something that more so than consulting. I show up as a consultant, more so than investing. Investing is looking for business opportunities, more so than mentoring. Mentoring could be part of that too. There's a lot of flexibility or overlap in some of those, but just coaching, I think, is very much accepted, where we can provide a service and trade for money and help people grow and businesses grow as big or as much as they want. With 8 billion people, Well, why not just have 4 billion coaches or 1 billion coaches? That's still plenty. That's still eight people for each coach at 8 billion. So the point is, and with the skills, being able to make them easier to adapt, listening, collaboration, communication, focus on coaching 80-20 rule, 80% of the time, and maybe 20% is getting client and marketing. And I think that is much more doable when we have a framework that is clear to the client, that they get tremendous value, and it's easy to participate. I mean, every business would want exponential results. Everybody. They don't know that they can get that $1 million business challenge every 21 days, every month. First 21 days, we have an hour set aside for people to participate and discuss their business. It's a business challenge, $1 million. I don't know if that's a lot of money for you. For some people, I've had somebody said, "Oh, we're an $80 million company. We're too big." Okay, fine, get out. But for most people, it's not the money, it's the idea. You have a big idea. Today, we had a lady that has two businesses, a nonprofit, and she has a smaller service support. And she's not $1 million business. She wants to be $1 million provider. So she's in that journey, and that's absolutely fine. Think louder or bigger and have those thoughts and get along with other people that were in the room, the virtual room, that are discussing big ideas, big opportunities. And in that, they were able to have a communications about getting together because one could offer an idea on how to participate. And that's delightful. That's the referring business to each other. Now that elevates it. So if we do that more often, then inevitably we'll have big ideas, $1 million ideas. And when we have $1 million ideas or $10 million ideas, and we can provide the solution, we can get a portion of that or a percentage of that. That's where we're heading. That's where it is exciting to be able to expand and think bigger. Why not? It's so much easier to do it.